Hello everyone, Treya here, and this I guess will be a review point slash counterpoint vlog, audio log kind of thingy. I don't really know, but yeah, sorry. But yeah, no. One thing I like to do every now and again when I'm trying to look up like a new product for myself, regardless of what it is. In this case, it's a cosmetic product, but in other times it's been computers or games or food, even sometimes restaurants, etc. I like to go to different websites, either be it shops or whatever, and try to look up the reviews and just basically see what other people say. Because at the end of the day, promotions and advertising can be one thing, but people usually tend to be more the final verdict if something's good or if something's bad. Hopefully, if somebody decides to give real good information, that's always welcome. So what I like to do when I look at reviews, I like to look at the negative reviews first. In this case, because this is like at a star system, let's, like 5-star being the best kind of thing. I would look at the 1 to 3 stars and see what those comments or opinions or reviews, like what made the people rate it that low. And I know a lot of people would probably say, well, why look at those first? That doesn't make a lot of sense when you want to look at the higher rated ones. And here's the thing. In fact, 3 things in particular that I find when you look at the highest rated comments or reviews first. One, you might get a case of the company in question that makes the product hiring somebody to put a positive review about the product, highlighting specific details to try to get you to buy the item, which that's good for their bottom line, but it's not so great for the consumer because it's not really giving you a full perspective of the product itself to judge if it's good or if it's bad. Two, along the similar vein, the store itself or the website itself might have either advertisers, like an advertising department, or a marketing department that may ask them to write, again, a very positive review of the product to get you to buy the item at that store. And while that doesn't happen too much these days anymore, it does still occur, and you can always tell from the verbiage of specific comments and reviews about particular details, about shipping, about coupons, things that maybe regular people wouldn't normally say, but at the same time would maybe think about. And then the third factor, I want to call it kind of like the fan factor, and you'll see what I mean when I go into it here. But basically, people who either write a superficial or subjective or sort of a blind faith kind of review. And I like to go over all 3 of those in particular. So, superficial reviews for me are like, let's say you've got a computer that you want to get, and you go to look up, and the reviews are all negative, and then when you go to look at them, all the reviews are just about like the design of the shell of the computer or the color of, like, let's say, a button. Well, that's those people's opinion, and that's valid for you because that's not in your taste, but that doesn't mean there's a problem with the product. And then the same with more of a subjective one would be, I don't like the way the screen isn't this kind of color, or there isn't an extra button or a port to do this kind of thing. Again, that's not a problem with the product. That's a problem that you have with the item that's not substantial. It's substantial to you, but not to the main consumer base who is trying to buy the item. And the reason that the reason that that third category tends to be a real issue with me is because the rating system is set in place to help a consumer come on a website, a store, or whatever, and help them evaluate, is the product good or is it bad? Help you decide if you want to get it. So when somebody posts or chooses to rate something low for any of those reasons, it's actually hurting the chance that somebody who legitimately could actually get some real use or enjoyment out of a product, they'll skip it because they won't see it rated very highly. And the reality is, it could be really good for them, but they've missed out thanks to somebody else. And so that's the reason I tend to read the lowest rated stuff first. Because I feel like you get the most honest opinions about somebody, not about somebody. Well, you might get that too, but about something to see, is this product good? Is it bad? What is the actual issue and why did they rate it such? So, the thing that I was trying to look up is a shade that I've been using from LA Colors. It's part of the Colour Craze line. Unfortunately, though, on the bottle, all that's written is the code BCC653. So I was trying to look up the actual name of the shade itself. As you'll see on the screen, as you've probably been seeing on the screen this entire time, this line, like I was trying to look it up on the actual website, but I couldn't actually find it. All I really could find, and I'll splice this in right now, is the current line that they have, and as you can see, they all go by the CNP code. So I don't know if this shade that I have was from a former line or a discontinued line. So I tried to look up and see maybe, the best equivalent, and this one that I've found called Treasure Island seems to be pretty close. But the thing is, and I think most of you will understand, you can't tell really by the picture on the website or the bottle itself. You've got to put it on your nails to actually know if it's exactly the same color, same shade. Most of the time when you pick it up, you'll probably see if it is or not. So in my case, if this is like a discontinued line, then it's discontinued. If it's not, maybe it happens to be the same exact thing. It's just going under this name now instead of going under the BCC number anymore. So, yeah. But I wanted to try to look up my color. I couldn't find it, so I decided to go down and look at the reviews. And I found this one review, and it's literally the only negative review on like their products for this line in particular. And it's not as bad as what it could be, but this is what sort of sparked the interest for me to do this video, period. So I should have that now on the screen, and we'll read it together here. So it's a 3-star rating. Clumpy. Love their colors. Recently got a new one called Dark Knight, and it was horrible. So clumpy, the color was not even because of the clumpiness. Well, aside from the sentence structure of that, I kind of get where you're going from there. And I wanted to make that point counterpoint. So, to bring up the idea of clumpiness, the thing with the Colour Craze line, and not all of them, but a good fair amount of them, because I own several at this point. I'm looking right over at my nail rack here, and I have about 9 of them. And granted, I use a couple of them as base colors. Some of them I use on top of something else to make the sparkles, or like my nebula formula. But anyway, I will agree to the idea of possible clumpiness because they're supposed to be a nail lacquer, but nail lacquer, but they do have some sort of gel base in it, and I'm not really sure what the formula is, but it definitely is a gel of some kind. And so naturally, being a gel, there's a chance at some clumpiness, but at the same time, the counterpoint is I've never really had any issue with it. And my other sort of counterpoint to this particular comment is the information itself that's lacking. The user didn't post, and again, I know this is like maybe again subjective on my part, really, but to me, I think it would be vital information. They didn't post like, are their nail beds healthy? Were you trying to do this yourself, or were you having somebody do this for you, like the manicure, your fingers, the health overall? What's your experience when it comes to doing the nail polish, period? Like, I feel like all that information is very important. So without that, it makes it very difficult to understand if it's the problem that's at fault or maybe something related to you, really. Which, both can be very well the case. So, yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. So, I just wanted to make a note about that, really. So, thank you very much for listening. I don't know if this is going to be like a series or something, but, if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So, thank you very much for listening, and hope you have a great day. Goodbye.